Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are a brand new subscriber or a brand new viewer. My name is Kyle, and today I'm reviewing Civil War. This was written and directed by Alex Garland. The film takes place in a pseudo-post-war United States in which the country is divided into different factions and deals with a series of photojournalists who are trying to interview the President of the United States before he is assassinated. This movie has been literally blowing up all over Twitter. We have a lot of people giving differing opinions on the movie, so it is one of those divisive films. And as such, I thought, all right, I'll go see it and try to formulate my own opinion. And after coming out of this movie, it was okay. I thought the movie wasn't awful, but it was far from being a great one. I felt like there were a lot of missed opportunities here. I think the biggest issue that I have, for some people, it might be a positive, and in certain ways, it could be misconstrued as a positive. But I do think it's a negative, and that is Garland decided to keep this movie politically neutral. He didn't want to make a movie that was from a liberal point of view or a conservative point of view, but to try to keep things straight down the middle. This usually is done to try to bring in a broader audience. But the problem here is that there are a lot of elements of the movie that are just surface level. There really is no way to simply dig deep if the themes are not going to be explored in a more specific way. And definitely what follows are the characters. Now, I do think that this movie has a lot of talented actors. I love Kirsten Dunst. I've always thought she was a great actress. But when you're making a film like this, or an action film, a sci-fi film, or a thriller, you tend to follow the hero's journey. And it begins with an inciting incident that propels everything into motion, and a character or characters call to action in which they say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and that's what drives the narrative. With the best of those movies, you are completely on board. It works perfectly. You're not asking any questions. You completely understand the characters, what their goals and motivations are. However, in Civil War, I had a lot of questions about what they were doing and the simple call to action that were not fully answered. They tried to give some answers, but it wasn't enough for me to be absolutely gripped with what they're doing. If the movie has a general structural problem that early on in the film, in most cases, it's going to be a hindrance, and it certainly bothered me throughout pretty much the entire movie. I thought the first half of this movie, guys, was extremely boring. Even when there were things happening, I didn't feel like there was really a progression of character development. They all felt very static throughout these scenes, and they drop little hints of things that will come later in the second half, but it's not enough for me to be fully invested in them. And I think a deeper issue is Garland will bring up concepts and ideas that would make for a much more interesting film than what he's trying to present. I mean, the idea of Texas and California joining forces, that should have been its own movie. And I totally get what he's trying to do here, especially with the Vietnam-style callbacks of these young journalists and reporters going in and photographing the literal horrors of war. I'm not blind to those things that he's trying to do, but again, they are all so surface level. And I know people have already said this, but when Jesse Plemons shows up, the movie becomes 10 times better. That usually happens when he shows up in a movie. He's like a good luck charm, but here, his performance, it was much needed to bring a very boring movie to life. I will say that the movie did end strong. I thought the third act was the best sequence of the movie by far. I do think, in general, the action scenes in the movie are directed extremely well by Garland, and if the whole movie was following the intensity of that third act, I think we could have had a classic on our hands. But as it stands, Civil War is a movie that has really good ideas and concepts, and you can tell Garland was really thinking about these. But it's all about the execution, and that's where it leaves a lot to be desired. There's a lot of things that if they were developed further, and he tried to dig deeper into those concepts, it would have been a great movie that would have had me on edge the entire time. But because he kind of skimps over some of those details, because I'm assuming maybe he was nervous about coming across as too right-winged or too left-winged. Taking that and running with it, I think, was something either he or the studio was terrified to do. So they just show you the most basic surface level things. But again, it's not interesting. It's just boring. I think because the movie ended as strong as it did, it will make certain audience members coming out thinking it was great because of the ending, not because of what came before it. And I'm not trying to say that anybody is wrong in this instance. I'm not trying to do that. But I do feel after seeing this film, it's very, very slow, and it's under 2 hours, but it feels like you're there for well over 2. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think about the movie? Do you think that what I'm saying is just completely wrong? Did you think the movie was great? Did you think it was awful? Let me know down in the comment section below, guys. And also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a like. And check out all the links in my social media pages, which are in the description box below, including my website, kjgpictures.com. Thank you all so much as always for watching, guys, and stay tuned.